Michael, the Michael Jackson biopic is finally released in theaters after a long time of waiting, reshoots, and controversy. I don't think I've ever really mentioned this, but I would consider myself a pretty big fan of Michael Jackson, which kind of just means that I like to listen to his music. Well, me liking Michael, and I don't actually know a lot about his origins and backstory, it's a pretty good enough reason for me to go watch the movie. So I went to go watch the movie, and it rocked my world. Michael follows the origin of the king of pop, Michael Jackson, with his humble beginnings in the Jackson 5 with his brothers, all the way to breaking into his solo career with Off the Wall, Thriller, and Bad, ending in 1988. Firstly, before we start the review, I do want to talk about some of the things that the critics are saying, because I do not know what they're talking about. Matter of fact, I don't even know if we watched the same movie, because compared to what the critics think about the movie and what us fans, audiences think of the movie, everyone loves it. I love it, but the critics don't. I mean, some critics do, to be fair, but a majority of them don't. And I guess the main criticism that I'm seeing is that the movie is kind of whitewashed, and I do understand where they're coming from, because the movie kind of really just focuses on its highlights more than more, I don't know, serious topics. But legally, they're not allowed to talk about any of those things, and really, this is a family-friendly movie, so I don't really think they want to discuss all of that. But yeah, I really like the movie. I don't know what the critics are talking about. I don't think we watched the same movie, but honestly, I don't want to talk about it too much. I just want to enjoy the movie. So now, let's move on to the review. I didn't actually do my research before watching this movie, so I really didn't know what to expect, and I didn't really know much about Michael Jackson behind the music. But this movie really gives a good representation. I'm researching it now, and after watching the movie, I understand what he's gone through. I understand a lot about his story now, and I really like that. I think the way they portrayed his story is great, and while the movie's not entirely accurate with his life story, there's still some things that happened in the wrong time, some things that didn't happen. There's a lot of weird changes, with a lot of weird things they did in the movie, but overall it does give a good understanding of his story, which is really, I feel like, is the main goal for the movie, and I think they achieved that goal. To be honest, this would not be a Michael review if I didn't talk about Jaafar Jackson. Jaafar Jackson does great. That's Michael Jackson's nephew. I mean, they didn't just cast him because he's a Jackson. He really had to do all the work. He had to learn all the moves. But he really had to become Michael for this movie, and I really appreciate the effort. Some scenes, it really just almost feels like Michael possessed him at some points. He really just feels like Michael. You kind of forget that you're watching someone play Michael. But then when you look to Coleman Domingo as Joe Jackson, he does a great job too. I think he might be my favorite performance. I don't know, maybe Jaafar, probably Jaafar, but Coleman Domingo does a great job as Joe Jackson, as being this abusive, scary character, this antagonist of the movie, if you would say. I think he does a really good job as giving off this kind of scary vibe, as of someone that Michael is terrified of. Michael is terrified of Joe Jackson, and he gives off a really good portrayal of that, because you can definitely feel Michael's frightenedness of Joe Jackson. Coleman Domingo does a great job. And those are the two stand-up performances. Now I want to talk about the music, and I mean, I really just came to the movie for the music, but I ended up getting more than that. But yeah, the music is great. They picked they mainly picked the big songs. From each album, they played at least one or two songs from each album, and yeah, I really like it though. I want to talk about the recreations too. They almost perfectly recreated Motown 25. Motown 25 was great, especially when he hit that moonwalk. When you watch the side by side from the actual performance to the movie version, it's really accurate, besides for the camera angles, which make it just the camera angles make it better though. Also, the Thriller music video, while not entirely accurate, it definitely does feel like a really good recreation. It feels like you're actually watching the scene being filmed. I think these guys did great with the recreations, and the music they picked, I like the music they picked. They picked all the banger music, they played all the big songs, but they also did play the Jackson 5 music, which I did like a lot. Got me listening to Jackson 5 now, and I never thought I'd do that. They did a really good job with that. And for music, that's pretty much it. They played so many songs. They played songs every couple minutes. It's great. But yeah, that's around the end of the video. I'm not gonna lie, this is a kind of short review. I don't really have a lot to say, but overall, I'd give this movie a solid 9 out of 10, because I love Michael Jackson. I love the guy. I like his music. And watching this movie, I don't adore his story. I don't want to be Michael Jackson after watching this movie. This movie does not make me feel like I want to be Michael Jackson at all after seeing what he went through. But this movie has a lot of emotion, has a lot of good feels to it. The movie movie is emotional, but it also has good moments. That's what I like. The movie's kind of depressing, not gonna lie. The scenes with Joe Jackson, like all the emotional scenes, they're kind of depressing, bro. Even like the Pepsi incident. But like scenes where like he's performing and like he's making songs, that's like when the feel good moments come, and that's when the movie feels like at its peak. That's what I like about the movie. And yeah, there's still a lot of inaccuracies, so it's not gonna be a straight 10 out of 10, but a 9 out of 10 will do. And yeah, that's my thoughts on Michael. But anyways, guys, that's my thoughts on Michael. What did you guys think about Michael? If you've seen it already, let me know down in the comments. Rate it from 1 to 10, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.